Welcome to another King Arthur Legends Rise video. I'm Skratch. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. In today's video, guys, we're gonna put it up to a test. I finally managed to get a decent drain set. So we're gonna see what is the ultimate best build for Charlotte, which is of course the new hero that you can get from the rate up summoning banner. She is a bit different than the other heroes that we have in King Arthur Legends Rise, and not because of the looks. It's mainly because she doesn't actually use vigor to attack. She sacrifices her own HP. Now, in a previous video, I was talking about potentially this being one of the best builds for her, and that is of course a drain set and having next to it a strife. The strife is without a doubt something that you must have on her. So in today's video, we're gonna test her in the following ways. We're gonna see how well it works if she's built on a drain set, on an attack set with crit rate, and then we're gonna test her without having crit rate and anything like that, just super high attack. We're gonna let her die and see if that by any chance is actually better. Now, just so you guys are aware, I actually haven't done this test before, so I would be as surprised as you once we're gonna find out basically what will be the final verdict. So I have her built on a drain and a crit rate set. Not the best stats because I'm lacking attack percentage substat from pretty much every single piece, which is really bad. And of course she has no chivalry or anything like that. 4.4k attack. She is pretty slow at 116 speed, 81 crit rate, 33 crit damage, and I have 14.28 pierce. Basically, this is kind of like a standard build that you would want to use on pretty much any other hero. Then we're going to change the build. Now we're going to try it in the main story. We're literally going to have a look at the actual damage numbers rather than something else. I will bring in a different hero in here. So let's bring in Turin, right? Turin should get a job done. And basically provide a bit of healing, because you will require a bit of healing no matter what you're using, to be honest. The thing is, if we're using a drain set, we are literally sacrificing a 20% attack from the set, which can be pretty damn big, to be honest with you guys. So let's get some attack gauge in there. Let's do that. And now we're gonna be able to basically use the A3. So I'm going to put it on slow-mo right there. Hello? Are you going on slow-mo? Feels like it takes a while for it to go on slow-mo. And the A3. What do we have? So we got decent-ish damage. We have no defense down or anything like that on the enemies. We managed to basically recover around 20% of the HP that we basically sacrificed. So even like this on its own is not going to be enough. Now if I would bring in a Morgana in here to basically give me the defense down, I would do much higher damage, which means that overall will be better. So let's actually go in like this, get a bit of healing up and running. And this time around we're actually going to go with the A2 skill. Actually no, we can use the A3. Doesn't really matter, we have enough HP to sacrifice. So let's go with the A3 again. They do have a lot of buffs on them at the moment. You see, so definitely not bad damage. And as you guys can probably notice, we are over 50% of the HP, which is pretty damn good. Which means that we should be able to use the A3 skill once again. Plus, we're going to get a bit of healing from that A1 right there. Let's get some more attack gauge in here. And the A3 once again. And that's mainly because we're recovering HP. Now, you can play around and bring in a lot of healers to ensure that you are doing that. But to be honest, it's pretty hard to ensure that she's going to have the AoE skill available as often as possible, even if you have a Gillian in here that will constantly heal you. It's just not going to be enough to make the most out of it. That's why I think that a Drain set can actually be pretty damn nice. You saw she got a few hits in there, which, hey, it is what it is. You see, even with the healing, we're not going crazy stupid on the HP. So right now we are under 50%. Yeah, we won't be able to use that A3 again, but we're gonna be able to go A1, get a small amount of healing because that was not Nothing too crazy right there. We can definitely heal again with her. The good thing is that she doesn't actually require a vigor, right? So we can go with the A2, and this will be a single target attack because we don't have the debuff on. Once she dies, that becomes AoE, which is kind of like the good thing about it. Now, if you're bringing in dot damage and all that stuff, this will increase the damage too on her. Okay. Sacrificed HP. We gained a little bit back, nothing crazy. So I'm going to wipe them just so we can actually have a look at the damage. You see, right now, we have the debuff. So the numbers look pretty decent with the crit. Right now, we cannot actually do that. So the whole idea is that if we are as we are and we're not going to have lots of healing on, we're just not going to be able to use the main skills. You see, the A3 is not usable, but we can use the A2, which now becomes AoE. So the numbers should be lower because we don't we don't actually crit, but we're not really regenerating a lot of HP like this because we're not doing a lot of damage. It's nice to have that shield on though when she revives, to be honest. Once again, just A1, which should be AoE. The Strive set procced in, we actually gained some damage, some healing, sorry, because we're triggering Drain with that as well. Plus we have the Drain set, and we were able to use the A2 skill again. We can heal more. Decentish healing right there. And we should be able to go in with the A2 once again. You see, the damage is not that crazy. So what I really want to see is, if we're going to give her a build with no crit, we're going to let her die from the very beginning, is that really going to be better? Are we going to be able to heal her enough to use the second and third skill often? That's basically my main thing. So we had 3,422 damage right there. Battle stats, we have the following. The highest damage dealt, 169k. The highest damage was 6,415. So I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this so we know that this is the drain, just to kind of like have an idea once we are done with the other two builds as well. So 20% attack as a different set on her, of course, it will bring us more damage. It's kind of like a no-brainer. So honestly, I'm not even going to put her on an attack set instead with crit rate because, yes, it will be kind of like crystal clear. We're going to get more damage. What I'm going to do instead, though, I'm actually going to change the build to an attack set with no crit rate, so I'll be back in a second. So I gave her tons and tons of attack, guys. I actually gave her an attack set, and I gave her a counter attack set because, to be honest, there isn't anything else more interesting as a two-piece set. At least not something that I already have available. We do have the new gear set that gives you a shield, which is pretty nice, but I don't have that available at the moment. So her total stats at the moment are the following: 5.6k attack, almost 5.7, 12% crit rate, 36% crit damage, and we have almost 30% hit accuracy. Pierce is pretty much the same as it was before. So we went with an attack necklace, attack earrings, attack ring. We have, of course, an attack belt, hit accuracy, and we have a pierce on the banner. Time to see if the actual numbers look better than they were looking before. Very, very curious. So we're going to have to definitely try out a completely different strategy. We got to let the hero die, and then we need to heal her as well on top of it. Very, very important, right? Because if we're not healing her, we're just not going to be able to basically get her up and running. So we're going to bring in a couple of healers in here, and we're going to go like this. Hopefully she is going to die, basically. If not, we're going to have to try hard to make her die. And see how are the numbers looking, right? So let's go A1, A1. Come on, attack her. Take her down. I'm actually going to go... You know what? We can definitely go A3 just to make her lower on HP, actually. So the damage still looks pretty decent. I would almost say that it looks very similar with what we had before, even though we haven't really crit a lot, right? So let's see. She's getting a lot of healing like this, though, so maybe it was not the best idea. Another AoE. Okay, this actually looked pretty decent. She's dead, finally! Time to heal her now. So we cannot crit now, no matter what happens, right? We cannot crit. Let's push that HP. Okay, so we have a good HP. So we should be able to use the A3 skill. That's what I want to see right now. How much damage we're going to do. $49,837. Actually, pretty damn good damage, to be honest. Pretty good damage. 35,788. To be honest, it does feel like this is the right way to build her, because the damage just seems to be bigger, better. So if we're going to have a quick look at the battle stats, we have 147 damage dealt, and we have 8,198 as the highest damage dealt. Now, before, we definitely dealt more damage. It just felt like we were in the fight for much longer than we were with this build. So we dealt a bit of more damage, but the highest damage is definitely much better on this build, as you guys can probably notice. So we have, on the previous build with crit rate and all that stuff, 6,400. And on this one, we have 8,192. Let's do one more run. And I said I'm not going to give her a full crit rate attack build, but I will give her one of those as well. Because why not, right? We're going to try to make that happen as well and basically see if the numbers will be better than when she crits, actually, you know? When she doesn't crit, sorry, my bad. Okay, so we are getting low. Come on. Can somebody kill her, please? Kill her! Yeah, you're not going to kill her, that's for sure. So A1 again. I'm supposed to use the A2 skill to sacrifice more HP. I've missed it. I wasn't expecting her to take a turn just yet. But we're going to be able to use the A3 again, most likely. Yep. So 38,000. And this is without having the buff. Now we have the buff on. Let's get the healing up and running before they're going to absolutely wreck us. Okay, some good healing. Give me a double. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So right now we have, let's see, 49,000. 49,000. We haven't killed no one this time around, but still the damage was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. So I'm curious to see after what's going to happen. Let's get more healing. We definitely need to have healing now, so that's the whole idea with this strategy. You constantly need to heal her. 60,000. And that's mainly because they had defense down, right? So battle stats, 155,000, highest damage, 7,380. You know what? I'm quickly going to change the build one more time. So I have her on an attack and a crit rate, guys. 5k attack. We have 124 speed, 91 crit, 46 crit damage, and the same amount of pierce. Is this going to be better than both of the previous builds? Very, very curious to see. Now, of course, once again, you will require to have multiple healers if you want it to work. Because she's not going to regenerate HP, so she basically needs to constantly smack the enemy. Let's dive into it. Very curious to see if we're going to see bigger numbers than we've seen initially. Let's A1. A1 as well, and we should be able to use the A3 now. So let's see this. $45,000. Man, it feels like no matter how I'm doing it, she still drops pretty much the same numbers. More or less. So it's not like, oh my god, what a big difference, right? It feels like it's a very small difference, and that difference feels when she's actually dying and she has the debuff on, it feels like it's a bit stronger. But other than that, it just doesn't really feel like she's absolutely smashing it, right? Or at least to me, it doesn't feel like she's absolutely smashing it. So let's see now. 50,000. Very, very similar. So I feel like no matter how you decide to build her, guys, she's gonna be spot on as it is, right? It is harder for sure to make her die and bring her back, heal, etc. Just to get that little bit of extra damage in some cases, it might be worth it, to be honest with you guys. But it doesn't really feel like it's a massive difference. So the Drain set did have less attack, which it makes sense to be the weakest out of all of the 3 builds that we've just tried. Now, if she dies, yeah, it definitely feels like it's a bit better. But to be honest, we did have that defense down on all of the ads previously. So that definitely pushed the damage quite a bit. Like, that was nasty. 49,000, and bang, we racked them completely. Now, I'm curious to see the highest damage right now. So, if we're going to go battle stats, offense, you see, it's the same. It's actually literally the same. 7,545. I feel like we had pretty much the same. Maybe we had 8,000 on the very first run with the previous build, not the Drain one. But the damage dealt overall is more or less the same, of course, as the highest. So it feels like, honestly, because she's dead, because she's not dead, she is pretty much doing the same job. Now, I feel like the main difference will be on the A2 skill, because that's going to become an AoE. The A1 is going to become an AoE. So that might be worth it in some cases. You sacrifice less HP as well. But her signature skill, as you guys could probably notice so far, it tends to be pretty much at around the same numbers, more or less. Let me know how you have your Charlotte build. And are you planning to change the build? How are you using her? Are you letting her die and non-crit just with high attack? Or you're prioritizing some crit rate, crit damage on her, etc. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.